Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Today we're talking about climate change. That's right, climate change. How dare you? But anyway, we're going to go ahead and have some fun discussions. And we got Dan on right now. Tech Haberdashi will be back in a little bit. And hopefully in time for the start. And we'll see if anybody else jumps on there or not, or if I scared everybody away. Maybe climate change might have taken out Vince. I know his whole country's on fire, so prayers for those folks out there in Australia. But we'll see if he jumps on, makes it or not. Let's see, is he on the Discord server or not? I am monitoring the live chat section on the Discord server today, so if you are over there on Discord, let's see. No, Vince is not on Discord either. I wonder if Vince is on fire or not. I don't know. Yeah, he was on yesterday. But yeah, so it's one of the things that's not being reported as much in that area is there was is it 200 and something people being arrested for arson right there. Um, so interesting. Let's see. We got Keegan's on. Greetings, Keegan. And Just YouTube says hello. Hello, Just YouTube. Greetings. Philip Flores, hello there. Bruce Scott is up there monitoring from Moonbase Alpha. Very good, Bruce. Hello, how are you doing? Greetings, Chad V. Hello, hello. How dare you not be on board with us, young people? How dare you? I'm telling you. Let me see if I have Ben's email or not. I don't know if I do. Ben Fitzpatrick, I don't know if I have your email in here. If you would like to jump on, Ben, you are welcome to jump on. Just shoot me an email. Let's see. Mitchell's on. Greetings. Mr. Quint, you're back in the country. How's it going, sir? Oh, good. How's your vacation? Oh, how's your vacation? Very nice. Are you back to school now or not yet? Next year. I think college is not in yet. The downtown does not seem crazy yet. Not that I'm looking forward to move-in weekend, which I need to check the calendar. If that's this weekend, I am not leaving the house. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice. How dare you blame it on arson? That's right. That's going to be like the meme today, isn't it? Let's see. So we are monitoring on Discord. If you just jumped on the live chat channel, so you can jump on over there. It's pretty dead over there right now. No, it's up and running. I mean, there's still some boards. Like I want to probably add a mod board and a few other. I want to add a patron supporter board. So, there's stuff that I want to add for that. But for the most part, it's running. We got news sections. People are definitely giving me those funny, amazing news articles. That's epic. Although I have got to say, I think I have 25 or 30 news articles this week. So the fact is, we are either going to have to pare it down or do we want to do a news marathon or do we want to pare it down or do we want to spread it over a couple days? What do you guys think? News marathon? That'd be like a 2.5, 3 hour news. That'd be crazy. I mean, I could do a news part two because on Saturday, what we have planned is to finish up the advanced cinnamon theming, which I recorded the video for that, but it was 55 minutes long. And I'm like, this is too long. So I want to go into the basics. I want to describe the sections and just do a couple little things and then give you the ability to download the themes. So that's kind of what I want to do with that. So I can probably fit in there because I'd like to pare that advanced cinnamon theming down to no more than 15, 20 minutes. So I could actually add an extra news section over there. So, but anyway, that was a fast dinner there. And you survived? Did you not eat or what? Oh, that's not good. Okay, well. That's all good. That's all good. Yeah, I'm on live chat right now for the news. So During the news, I do monitor the live chat. I'm not monitoring anything else. You can drop something in news sections if you see something. Of course, emailing always works too, but if you drop in the news section. So I actually put together the news articles on Thursdays, like Thursday night, late Thursday. So if you put something in after that, I probably won't see it unless I'm short on news, which I am not short on news this week. Once I wrap up tonight. It's under the news sections on the Discord server. You'll see a section for privacy, business, Sillyville, and other topics. So I think we also have a security. We have a security now as well. So this week, I'm not going to do that every week because I'm not a guru at all security stuff. So I'm using the Discord flat pack is what I'm using. Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard, and that's actually why I went with the flat pack this time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is a neat function if you want it, but I think it's a little intrusive personally. Yeah, that's a good way to go too. All right. All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I did not unmute you guys. That is my fault, guys. For 10 minutes, I'm a dope. That's me. That's not you guys. That's me. So what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to switch over and then unmute the chat line. I apologize, guys. And I just got back over and look at this, and nobody's like, I was been looking at the comments here, so nobody told me until the comments. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Wow. We'll have to record this and do a separate edit of it just for that. I shouldn't be muted. I should not be muted.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Panel's mute. Panel was muted. Panel is unmuted. Let me just update everybody. Yeah. That was me. Oh dear. Sorry, guys. So you guys missed all the amazing stuff that we're not going to say again. That was the end of the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. But anyway, let me just jump on down here. Let's see. In Discord, okay. Let's see. Sleepy is busy flying CL-415 water bombers made in Canada. Did Kitty kidnap Switch? Oh, no, Kitty's over here. He's staring at me, though. My handler's over here watching me. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that was the panel. It was me. All right. Okay, let's see. Anyone having issues with kernel 5.4? I have not tried kernel 5.4. Hey, I can tell you that kernel 4.4 is working just fine because it's been running on this. Oh, Skybear says I should be muted and timed out. All right, I'll mute myself. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and jump on into this. So I'm going to go ahead and start a recording here, and we'll go a little bit of time. So we'll go ahead and start the conversation, and then I think Tech will be back in a minute. I think he went out for dinner. Oh, no, he's still there. All right. All right, so here we are back with Switch to Linux on the panel here. These are on the supporter stream. So thank you guys for your support on Patreon and or Think Life Media, wherever you happen to be at. And today we're talking about right to repair and climate change. Yes, I had to poke a little bit. Now, let me just start out with climate change stuff at the top. I do agree that we have to take our part in preserving the resources on the planet. and I do a lot of my parts. I will go neck and neck against most other people, and I bet that I am more energy efficient and things. In fact, it's hilarious because my electric meter and my neighbors is right next to each other, and I love to see that theirs runs at twice the speed as mine, and I have this beastly computer down here, and I work from home. They're never home. My electric still runs half the speed as theirs. I have not gotten a shopping bag for like 3 years. I keep canvas bags in my car. I mean, and I even bring my own disposable containers for produce, for bulk food sections and things like that. So I do a lot. But I also see that in the climate change debate, there are more politics in the climate change debate. And we don't want to touch on the climate change stuff. But what we want to do today is I want to kind of poke at people who are pushing climate change but not helping push right to repair. Because right to repair is so fundamentally critical to keep resources in the ground, keep the earth better off. And we really need to have this right to repair, which basically means I need to repair my devices. So, all right, guys, give me your initial thoughts. Dan, let's go. Dan first.
Okay. First of all, the devices should be made so they are more repairable than what they are now, because sooner or later we're going to use up all the special metals and materials that we get out of the earth, and next thing you know, we're going to be digging up landfills to get the stuff back. I mean, when you have something that dies, you should be able to take it somewhere and get it fixed at a reasonable price, or you shouldn't be told that you have to get a new one. And my stance on that is, there's more and more things that are becoming this way, that everything's become just a disposable item. I myself, when I buy a TV set, I don't buy another one until the one I have had a good life and dies and is no longer repairable. I don't have a 4K TV. I have a regular flat HD TV, 1080p, but I'm not going to run out and buy a 8K TV just because it's there.
Hey, my 720p is just fine for me.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Hey, Ben.
You ready to give your initial thoughts on right to repair and climate change? Pass for a second. I know Quint's ready.
I'm not sure what the heck that stuff is, Tom. Sorry.
Okay. Quint, go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly think that there needs to be more right to repair things going on, because even this phone here, I fix it, try to take it apart, and it gets a 1 out of 10 on the repairability score, because when you open it, you basically damage the screen.
That's a problem.
And so we need to see devices that are designed to be repairable, which I know there is a phone. It's called, I'm blanking on, it's called the Fairphone is what it's called. It's a modular phone that can be repaired. We need to see more devices like that. Mm-hmm. We need to see computers that are repairable. Mm-hmm. And pretty much most electronic devices need to be easily repairable or have to last a long time.
Yeah. And they're starting to get them to the point where they don't last a long time. Of course, we had in the news last week with Sonos having the recycle mode, right? So it's like, hey, recycle mode, you'll get 30% off your next one. Well, recycle mode completely bricks the thing entirely. It becomes totally useless.
I'll go next, Tom.
Yeah, all right. Go ahead. Do you have anything else to add, Quint? Or are you good?
I will add that Apple is talking about, I'm sure you're going to get into this, how Apple is saying that they're all environmentally friendly and that they recycle all the devices.
Yeah.
First of all, Apple does not let you repair the devices. It's really, really hard to. And second of all, I've seen videos of people who go dumpster diving for iPhones at the Apple store, and they just throw them in the trash.
They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to shred them and then throw them in the trash.
I've seen iPhones just sitting in there in the trash, like from these videos. If you just look it up, just look up Apple Store dumpster dive, you'll see it.
Yeah. That's what DistroTube says. Apple and John Deere will never allow their equipment to be repaired outside of an authorized repair shop. And that's the thing that we need to change, because the authorized shops are clueless and the unauthorized shops actually know what they're doing. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I agree with Quint here. We need more people who know how to fix these devices. I mean, throwing them away, that's not environmentally friendly, and it's dumb because, I mean, we still, like, for example, with my buddy Fishman, He knows how to fix a computer. He's been doing it since, I don't know how long, but for years. And, I might have shaky hands, Asperger's, the whole shebang, but I know how to fix a computer. It's not
Mm-hmm.
hard. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we need more people like us who know what the heck they're doing to fix these devices rather than just throwing them in the garbage. I mean, throwing a computer or a device or whatever into the garbage, that's not environmentally friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've said, this whole stream, we need more climate change and better repairability.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise we are going to run into problems, and these are going to be wasted computers and other devices that are just, ugh, it's just frustrating to the bone.
Correct. Yeah. So even my Dell laptop, which was it's an Inspirions at 7148N, I think, that was unbelievably annoying to fix the keyboard, but literally you could fix anything on the part. Dell makes the parts available. I bought the keyboard. It cost me like $7 or something.
Yeah.
And it did take me probably about an hour to do, because you actually have to field strip the entire computer down to individual parts.
Yeah.
And
You
then
see,
that's it.
with this laptop right here, this is my Inspiron 7567.
Yeah.
And the problem is you have to take the bottom off with just like one screw, and then the trackpad right now, you can scroll with it, but you can't click anything because I spilt milk on it over the holiday. But, regardless, I got a new trackpad here. And all you do is take the battery out, take the bottom off, and then take out the trackpad. It's not hard, but you do have to have a Torx bit to do it. Regardless, that's not a hard thing to do. It's very easy. So that's just an example of, a way to be more environmentally friendly. So,
correct.
Can I add another example here?
Go quick. I wanted to jump in here too.
What I was going to say also is that all of the computers that I have, like not laptops, but the two, a desktop and a server computer I have, are both computers that I bought off of eBay that were maybe a couple years old that would have been thrown away otherwise. Like this computer I'm on now, I got for $80 on eBay. I put everything, I put a lot of new parts in it, and it works great.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tech.
Oh boy. So I'm not going to defend Apple on this one. I as a guy who like made his living in his early career repairing computers, the way that Apple has gone with computers is disheartening, to say the least. There is some argument to the fact that the devices are lasting longer, so they're not getting thrown away as often. But I think with the sheer mass of things that are out there, devices, I think that it's not necessarily in their favor. So I'm not happy about it. And then we're not even, I think we're going to probably at some point, but we're not there yet in the discussion of where do all these rare earth metals and what happens and how do they get into the environment and the extra damage that they do. So there's a lot to unpack with this, but I know we like to focus on Apple because they're the big guy, but it's not just Apple. I mean, this is all of the mainstream manufacturers are like this. I mean, even that super cheap Dell that I bought for running Linux on, I got it for like $150 off eBay, like Quint did. I can't replace anything in there except for the stick of RAM and the Wi-Fi card. Everything else is soldered to the logic board. So
that's interesting for a Dell. Now I have a Lenovo like that, but
well, it's because it's just stupid cheap. Now, if it was one of their mid-range systems that normally went for like $500, that probably would be very great.
Yeah.
Every part in my computer is swappable. You can change anything.
Now, that's funny. My new work computer that I demonstrated the other day, that is actually an Omniplex with a 3rd gen i5 processor, and it's going to run perfectly fine for a long time on Linux Mint, and rather than buying a new computer, because the laptop I'm running my business on right now, I have had this laptop in service for 10 years now. Now it still runs perfectly fine. I'm actually not anticipating it breaking anytime soon, but hey, I do have the other secondary Linux backup, or, what I'm starting to do now is I'm, half the time I'm on the one computer, half the time on the other computer, just kind of moving stuff around. So that's kind of the thing that we want to do, is to jump in and do those specific things. So,
well, lately in the last in the last couple of years with the rise of Ryzen processors and stuff like that, computers have been depreciating faster than cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not just recently. That's been going on for a long time. Remember when I was selling computers way back in the day now, I would tell people, like, as soon as you walk out the door with that computer, in like 3 months, there's going to be some new hotness around the corner, and it's going to be not state of the art anymore.
Yeah.
So I used to argue with people to say, don't try to future-proof your technology, because the future is not an attainable goal.
Mm-hmm. Correct. We just do, use what we can. Absolutely. So let me check in on comments here real quick, and then we'll move on to another point here. All right, let's see. Silly reptiles, they're super hearing. Yeah, you know. Okay, right to repair. That will only happen when people start to choose politicians wisely. This is true. Colonel 5 point.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I liked that comment, but I don't think it's just the politicians. I think it's a societal thing because we push so much for having a device like
No,
that.
it's the politicians that we are given to choose from is starting to become a problem because
maybe.
Societally, there's an issue with people wanting thin and light and svelte and
I don't think society necessarily cares about thin and light. I think that's what the companies keep pushing. But we as a society need to push back and say, I have a functioning phone. I don't need to spend money on another one right now.
All society cares. What I was saying is all society. Okay, go ahead.
Good. No, go Quint.
Okay. All society cares about is having the latest thing so that they can be cool. That's what society cares about.
Even that, only partially. I mean, I agree. I do see a lot of that. But
I have it on first-hand authority. When technology is already, a lot of it's already invented before we see it. They pre-plan how to release this stuff to gauge how fast that they can get the stuff they just made, get older faster out the door so they can get the new thing. 4K TVs, for example, when they came out with 1080p TVs, they already had the 4K screens and everything. I seen them myself at a plant, and they were holding them back to get rid of all the 1080p's.
Yep.
And then they were going to slowly trickle these out as the next greatest, biggest thing.
Yeah.
When they've had them sitting around for a year and a half or two.
Yeah, and it's to let's get these out, and then we're going to push out the next big thing, and that's where we as society have to sit and push back. There was an old joke going around this is right about the time Blu-rays started to come out. Like, can we just ignore the next technology after Blu-ray so I don't have to buy my collection again? I mean. And I agree. Sure, a Blu-ray might be higher quality than my DVD, but I'm very happy with my DVD, I mean, really. And no, I didn't say that as an old guy. My DVD, meaning my DVD player, I'm talking about the actual disc, I'm talking about the actual disc here. But yeah, politicians who are not corrupt support right to repair without exception. No doubt that Bernie Sanders votes in favor if there's a bill for it. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Pizza Kid is right. Apple just throws away the old phones. No, that's not Pizza Kid. That's Quint Kid. Pizza Kid's floating around somewhere. I'm not sure he's on though. Is Pizza? Yeah, Pizza's not even online right now. I wonder where Pizza went. Rossman Repair anyone? Yeah, there you go. If you have a problem with Apple, I enjoy this was a neat story. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not, but this is from iPad Rehab, right? So that's the person that Louis Rossman always talks with and things. They go head and head against this. So there was a guy I think it was in Norway, who went hiking. And he went hiking in Norway and disappeared. Well, they found him 9 months later. Of course, he had passed away. His iPad was in his backpack in the Norwegian winter for 9 months. The police could not do anything. The police contact Apple. Hey, we need to get information off this. Apple's like, you can't. It's just impossible. So they send it to iPad Rehab, and in less than an hour, she has the thing disassembled, and she fixes this iPad and logs into it and gets the last moments of this guy's life. That is the thing Apple is actively trying to block. Very possible to do. All we're saying is we need the parts, we need the manuals, so that more people can do that. But we have to remember, we are a short-lived society. Remember that Apple, in it was last year's report, their annual report came out, and they were complaining that their sales went too low. Their sales were too, because too many people were replacing their batteries instead of ditching their phones and buying a new one. Because phones got so stinking expensive, it's becoming out of range for an average middle-class American to buy a phone.
It's
That's
out of range for
amazing.
an average American to even finance one.
This is probably true. I don't know.
I'm financing mine, and I'm pretty middle class. Just saying.
You're financing yours? All right.
That's $39.50 a month.
Ouch. Why are you doing that
Ouch.
to yourself, sir? Why are you doing that to yourself?
0%. It's 0%. There's no interest.
Yeah, so what?
Because I wanted the new hotness. I know I'm part of the
All right.
problem.
So here's a fun thing to do. So the Nexus 5X is one of the most repairable phones. That's one of the reasons I like it. I bought this guy on eBay for $15. It works just fine, other than that cracked screen. And I bought here a brand new screen for it for $15. It's gonna take me about 20 minutes to swap the screen over.
Dude, go for it.
They're new phone, So in this one here, the first thing you need to do for the Nexus, and this is why I also have a big argument with the article we're going to be looking at here. So in this one here, the first thing you have to do is just take off the cover, the back cover, which actually contains the antenna. But if you notice these contacts, they're actually doing a lot of work on these contacts without having to have thickness. This is still a remarkably thin phone for what it can do. Okay. And then there's 12 screws in here, and then you're just going to need to get in here and just pop this guy off. Right here. Just pop this guy off. And now there's just a couple of simple pop clicks. Pop, click, pop, click. There's another one down here, and another one here for the battery. And this is your board. You can buy the replacement boards for this for $50 or less.
You've turned into the regular Rolex technician.
Yeah. So there's that. And then you just need to pull this out. Now, the downside on these phones is there is the proximity sensors here. You got to make sure to get that. There's actually another sensor down here. That little gray guy down there is actually a headphone jack sensor. Your system will not work right without that. But your headphone jack is literally right here. It's modular. It pops right out. And you'll notice that the contacts simply hit the board on these little contacts. You can't see that on the screen. My apologies, but this is just so well built and repairable, and it's so easy to do. And, why can't we do more phones like this? That's a good question, because this thing is so repairable. And like I said, I bought this one for $15 because the screen was broken. Bought the replacement screen for $15, so I have a replacement phone.
Is that your third one?
This is, I don't know, depending on where you strike that, that's either number 3 or number 4. So
how deep are you into this monetarily?
all of them together,
Yeah.
$300, I think.
I got it.
Hard to argue with that, Tech.
I started the same way with iPods and then got into Microsoft Zooms. And next thing you know, I had a full-fledged repair facility in the basement of my house.
Yeah. But the thing is, I won't have any issues because I actually have 2 of them. So this one here might have the one phone in here has a weak radio. The other one, I'm not sure if the radio works perfectly fine. That was an error. I actually took the board out of that to use on my current phone. So that's actually why it's already disassembled, because I borrowed the board.
On this phone right here, I've looked at the guide. You have to heat the edges around here. You have to do it for a very long time. You have to be very careful because it's glued on. You have to make sure that you don't damage the screen because there's a really high chance of damaging the screen. And then you can get into the phone, and a lot of the components are soldered on anyways.
Yeah.
I do not and will not ever support glue in these devices. It makes it
Yeah.
so difficult to repair them.
Yeah.
The only reason I like this phone is that it's very customizable in the software, though.
But it has a notch.
Yeah.
Oh, the notch.
But it does have a headphone jack, right? You said it doesn't
No,
have a
it
headphone?
doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh,
No.
no. That thing? What is that nonsense?
Well,
A headphone jack.
It comes with an adapter, though.
I had to check my phone to see if it had a notch.
Yeah.
Like right here, nothing. You have the only ports you have on here. You have a SIM card slot. I don't know if you'd even consider that a port, and the USB-C.
There you go. That works.
But it comes with a headphone jack adapter, though.
I was gonna say, I mean, your USB-C port or your Lightning port can act as a headphone jack.
That's another issue is all these cables they keep changing and coming out with and stuff like that. They know through prior stuff with cables, you know, like the USB-C cable, Ethernet cable was just as fast when it first came out. Why do they have to just keep switching all these cables around? I got a whole bag full of cables. You know,
I remember, I'll say this. I remember that when the iPhone 5, I guess, came out, the first iPhone that had the Lightning, I think that was the 5, right?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
5.
My parents were so annoyed that they couldn't use their existing iPhone chargers to charge it.
Yeah. Which is true, honestly.
Yeah, they used a big long one before that. It was a long,
like the big,
So-
long plug.
Well, I do have an article here. Let's go ahead and jump over to that. Of course, this is what started it all. It's where I'll be talking about Apple a little bit because, you know, Apple's not the only one in this industry, but let's just go ahead and have a look at this. So this is from The Guardian. So Apple says it cares about the climate. So why does it cost the earth to repair my MacBook? So, of course, this is a reference to you'd go and take a Apple device back to the store. Now, if you're paying them the, you know, whatever the Apple repair thing is called, I forget the name of it off the top. Apple Care. Thank you. Apple Care. So if you're paying the Apple Care, even then they don't really fix it. They're just like, swap it, you know, have a new one.
That's what they did for my computer. They just swapped the entire front of the computer.
Yeah.
But it was
And that's
free, though.
So, yeah, and it's free, and that's good. But if you don't have it, they basically are going to charge you almost the price of a new computer. So you can either pay $1,000 to fix this one, or you can pay $1,200 for a brand new one. And that's oftentimes what they do. Now, it says here, the Genius Bar said it would cost at least $600 and take weeks. In the end, it would just be cheaper to buy a new one. So with a lot of grumbling, that is what I did because I didn't know who Louis Rossmann was. Chances are you have been in my shoes, forced to buy a new gadget or appliance because repairing your old one was too difficult. I'll say that the Level 1 Tech News this week, also the Tuesday one, they made a very valid point on this similar thread with these smart devices. You got a smart refrigerator and you got to throw out your smart refrigerator because the operating system is out of date. Like, decouple the operating system from the functions of the refrigerator. Simple solution. Make it swappable with a Raspberry Pi board. But that would actually make sense, wouldn't it? And it would prevent waste from going into the junkyards.
Smart TVs are like that too. I remember Dan said something about that.
Yeah. We live in a world where it's near impossible to repair expensive electronics. We live in a world where trillion-dollar companies such as Apple are so obsessed with making us buy new things, they spend enormous amounts of money lobbying against legislation that would give people a right to repair for their old electronics. The fact is, it is so hard to repair things we supposedly own. Makes me angry the best of times. But on Monday, I became particularly apoplectic. What is that word? Apoplectic? Okay, yeah. I don't know that. Wow. I've not encountered a new word in a while. Whoa, what's this feeling inside of me? Scrolling through Twitter, I noticed the sanctimonious tweet by Tim Cook, Apple CEO. Humanity has never faced a greater or more urgent threat than climate change. Apple will continue our work to leave the planet better than we found it by shredding your old devices and making you buy new ones instead of giving you the parts and the manuals to replace it. Oh, I'm sorry. What did he say? All right.
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you? All right, what are your guys' thoughts on all that? Before I go all Greta on you.
Well, first of all, you know, if you want to think about it on the other end of the scale, Apple's missing an opportunity here if they're making the phones to begin with. If they wanted to actually really do something, instead of paying another company overseas to assemble a phone to sell it, they could withhold some of the parts and sell them outright, minus the labor it takes to put it together to repair existing phones.
Mm-hmm. That would definitely be better for the climate and for the planet. And honestly, that would help a lot of people. Now, the problem is, and where we're getting at, where Apple's getting at, is they lose money when they do that, because it makes more money when you sell a new device than when you don't.
Not only that, that would slow down the progression of them coming up with a new phone every year, because the parts from one year to the next year are not interchangeable. If they had to make parts to repair the phones.
Yeah, and with the Nexus 5X, it is modular. It is a modular phone. It's a little bit harder to repair. They don't use glue, but they do use some sticky tape in there that is a little bit annoying. But if you wanted to get a new headphone jack for that, it actually costs like $2. There's actually a store that just sells the parts to those phones. So interesting. Richard Addison asks, has anyone seen Pizza? He locked himself in his car and ate himself to death.
A tragic and wonderful way to go.
It's a little Spaceballs reference there. All right. Anybody that didn't catch it. All right.
Yeah, I hate being the guy, and I hate and love being the guy who has to defend Apple on this show.
Yeah.
I will give a little insight here. Apple far too often was running into the problem where the tier 1 guys and then the guys in our the partner stores were making major mistakes with repairing the end users' workstation, or their computer. I say workstations now, but computers or iPhones or iPads, or whatever the case may be. So Apple kind of ran up against this problem of trying to repair these, or set up a system that allows the customer to still have a functional device, and while at the same time getting the devices out to a technician, usually at a centralized facility, who can repair it responsibly. So I'm not going to say that's the only reason, mind you. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but that's certainly part of the equation. And there's also the fact that the point of this show is, this episode is, the effect on the climate. A lot of these devices are perfectly good as entry-level phones in, shall we say, not as forward technologically in societies. So old iPhone 5s and 6s still work perfectly great in some, I would say, third world countries. So these devices can be recycled in the sense that they can be resold overseas. So it's a multi-part problem that doesn't make Apple right necessarily, but it factors into the equation for why they decided to do what they do.
Now, when you were mentioning that you would bring the device in and people were messing it up, did those people have access to manuals and parts and training to do the job right?
Yes, it often came down to physical dexterity of some people, or people were rushed, or some level of, I would harshly use the term incompetency. Okay. But I don't know that somebody at Apple working there presently would necessarily use that term. But as somebody who knows how to fix electronics, I would use that term.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a skill not everybody has, to be able to tear apart a computer and put it back together, which you'd figure would be filtered out in the hiring process. But, and there's other ways that you can do things. Instead of saying, well, you don't have your computer for a few weeks, what about using a loaner system? Same thing with a car warranty thing. Your car has a serious warranty issue that's going to take a while. They're going to give you a car to replace yours. They don't expect you to go without a car for weeks on end. And a computer in our society is just as important. We can't expect somebody to go without a computer for 6 weeks, while it's being repaired.
But I can tell you that somebody who Best Buy tried to do that for a little while, doing the loaner devices.
I imagine.
Get trashed because people don't care for computers like they care about cars.
Correct. Yeah, and I do imagine there'd be some issues. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Whoa, pizza just showed up on the list on Discord. So he has not eaten himself completely to death, apparently. So,
There's also another situation in the technician world that often happens. You're working for a company, you take in a phone, let's say, or anything for that matter. You put a $200 part in it. The company collects $400. You're watching this. You go, I can do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy quits because he can do this and he's really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts his own business. And now he's cut out the middle guy. And that's why some of these companies, like Apple and stuff like that, and the repair departments don't have guys that are really good at this, or else, sometimes they just want to, well, I'm really good at this, and they go off on their own and put it all together.
Absolutely. Ran into that far too often in my life.
Which is, welcome to free enterprise, I guess.
Right.
Of course, if you didn't catch this video by Louis Rossmann, somebody said earlier, this is actually one where he's going through Apple's green document. They did this document saying how there was an environmental responsibility report. But he's kind of going through this, but showing the actual evidence where Apple was literally just taking easily repairable devices and just running them through shredders, which kind of defeats the purpose of that. But very excellent video to watch if you're curious about Apple's sustainability report. This was from Louis Rossmann's video. It's almost a couple years old now. April 2017, it looks like. But it's definitely worth it. Yeah. Oh, then that's a funny part. The Daily Mail had a report you were not allowed to commit suicide. Workers in the Chinese iPad factories are forced to sign pledges. Oh, God.
I remember that Apple put up suicide nets in their factories.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did indeed. So
They weren't the only ones.
This is true. And we
on average.
Apple is getting the brood of this, just like McDonald's gets the brood of the fast food making you fat, but there's a lot of other companies doing this. Greetings, Vince. Glad to know you're not on fire.
Hey, am I a bit late? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. We weren't sure if you were coming or not, but I just saw you pop up there on Discord. I'm like, whoa. Now we're just wondering.
Good to see you, Vince.
Because,
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
If you were,
I'm not the one who usually goes on fire, Tom. You know that.
Oh, I know. Fire! So Vince, we need your opinion on this one too, Vince. I've had so many articles this week. Should we do a news marathon, or should we break into a couple of days?
Ooh. So, I mean, are you saying you've got more than 2 episodes worth, or more than episodes worth?
I probably have about 15 candidates for the privacy news, about 6 or 7 for the business news, 4 or 5 for the security news, a bunch for Sillyville, and I have not even gone through the news suggestions in the Discord server yet.
Wow.
Week after New Year's, everyone's busy again reporting on all the insanity that happened over the
I think it must be CES time and all these new smart devices, yeah?
Oh yeah, there's some interesting ones. Now I did kick off Samsung has a new fingerprint reading device. I'm trying to find information. Does that check home? Because it says you can create up to 4 accounts, but I can't find any information. Does that actually creating accounts with Samsung and it's sending the data for verification, or if that's local to the device? I can't find that type of information. I think I threw that article out because I don't know, but yeah. Fingerprint scanner on your hard drives. What do you guys think?
What would that do?
Well, it's like it's a biometric encryption on your device.
Oh, I saw that. That's on a USB device, right? So a USB
it's
thumb
an
drive.
external USB hard drive. Yeah, it's like the T7 drives, I think. T5 or T7.
You know what I just did to make a USB hard drive? I have an extra hard drive right here. I ordered a $30 case for it that has a USB cord on the end.
Yeah.
And there we go. I have a portable external hard drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Quint. I bought a multi-drive. It's like a big square, and it's got plugs all the way around it. You can plug any hard drive into it, including an old IDE.
Yeah.
And it comes for a power. It comes with a power pack, so you have power for them large drives.
Yeah.
And it works really good. It's a good product, I think, and they're not expensive either. There's only like $15-$20.
I just wanted an external hard drive, and I was like, you know what? I'll just buy an adapter for a hard drive I have laying around, which I have plenty of hard drives laying around.
Yeah, so do I.
Vince, what is your thoughts on right to repair and climate change?
Yeah, I really lament the fact that so many things can't be repaired these days. I'm not sure. I think it's a little stretch to really blame failure of right to repair on climate to blame that for climate change.
Yeah,
I
and
get
I'm
that
not.
there's a lot of waste. And
I'm not. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying that if we're going to get serious about climate change and taking care of our planet, then all of the climate change activists should be supporting and lobbying for right to repair as they go.
It is
That's
one of
my
those things, yes.
argument.
But not only that, it's also blaming right to repair for people going broke because you have to buy new devices.
Yeah.
There's all of that as well.
Yeah.
But I don't. When I think about it more and more, like you kind of try and listen to some of the arguments that these companies try and make for proper repairs and things.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think there are very much competent people who can repair these things, who may not want to be signed up to be an affiliate repairer.
Mhm.
And I think that should still be perfectly fine for them to do.
Yeah. And I think that's where Rossman finds himself is, he's
Mhm.
more competent, I would say, than, most of your guys at the Apple Genius Bar at fixing stuff, because he's fixing stuff on a component level and Apple doesn't do it. Despite it does help the environment. It does help the planet to do that. It helps the customer in saving them some money. It helps the planet in not throwing away a computer, and that's kind of my argument, that we need to have this. And yeah, they try and make the arguments, but as Tech said, that there's definitely some valid arguments. You could, if you have a big company and you're just trying to fill desks to fix computers, you may not catch somebody who doesn't have the dexterity or the competency to repair such a device. I get that, but we need to have a way to repair such a device anyway. I mean, same thing with auto mechanics, I guess, right?
Right. I mean,
So
my
that's
point
not to
is-
mention.
Go ahead, Vince.
Oh,
Sorry.
go on.
All right. I was going to say, but I agree with you. Just because Apple has moved away from that, I don't think that means that the option should not be there for those who want to tackle that kind of endeavor. So again, I'm not defending Apple per se. I'm just trying to put a little justification as to a business sense to it.
Correct.
And I would say I would say that free enterprise would probably filter out those people who are good from the ones who are bad anyway.
Correct, and it should. And I think that the reality is, though, is that we need to have, whether it's factory direct or at least, compatible third-party parts, we need to have the parts to fix the things, and that's the biggest concern, I think.
But that doesn't excuse the actions that they take with things like the T2 chip, where you can't even replace the hard disk anymore.
Yeah, and that's a problem. We need to be able to do
That's
that.
completely
Have hardware
insane.
encryption.
That's a global warming device.
You know what else is a global warming device? This cat right here is a global warming device. Chad says we should have a newsathon. CJ can swipe the parrot off the desk. Let's see. There's a bunch of hellos over there in Discord. Not a whole lot over there, but
the sole reason I bought the model of MacBook I did, even though it was a year old, was because it didn't have the T2 chip. It was the last one that didn't have the T2 chip.
Yeah. I mean, T2, that thing destroyed the world, right?
No, Arnie took care of that.
What's that? Oh, yeah. All right.
Didn't Arnie take care of him?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but then they kept on rebooting the thing and the whole world's going to end again. I don't know.
Some hacker out there is going to crack that thing.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some Skynet-approved stuff out there floating around. Steve's very own just jumped on. How's it going, Steve?
Hi,
Um,
Took 'em
Steve.
a while.
Give me, let's go ahead and give me, since I'm still recording this thing, and I'm not sure I'm going to release this as a separate stream or not, but we'll figure it out. Give me your final thoughts, and then we'll close this out and hang out for a little bit. Dan, final thoughts?
My final thoughts is I believe things should be made repairable to an extent. I do understand there are some things in products that just can't be refurbished, but I think things should be made more so they last longer and that people can get them repaired. I don't think we should live in a disposable everything world.
Yeah, correct. Quint, final thoughts?
Yes, I believe, agreeing with Dan, that more things need to be repairable, and I believe that companies like Apple need to start making make their devices more repairable and publish manuals and say, even though they're saying they're all environmentally friendly, they aren't. They're just throwing iPhones in the trash, and you need to be aware of that when purchasing their products. That it's probably, if you take it to get recycled, it may just be in the trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tech, final thoughts?
I will say that I think that people should have the right to repair their devices, but I also want to counterbalance that by saying, have you ever seen people struggle just to use like a web browser with some degree of intelligence, where they're not like clicking on ransomware or something like that? I think that just for a great deal of people out there, self-repair is not a viable option. And I think a lot of us, who are enthusiastic about this, go, you need to repair it yourself. And some people are like, why do I want to waste the time?
Well,
I'm not saying that that's right, but that's the argument.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that right to repair doesn't necessarily mean that I am repairing my own device. It just gives you the option to choose who repairs it. Because I wouldn't expect a computer normie guy to go in. Like, let's see, there's probably 3 of us that remember VCRs and VCR repair. And do you remember it too, Tech? So, VCRs, they were pretty expensive, and there were VCR repair shops. And the fact is, though, is that I had the choice between a dozen VCR repair shops. But if I have an Apple device and it goes bad, I only have one place I can go to effectively. And that's the right to repair doesn't mean that I, as the individual user, am going to be repairing it myself, but it does give more options and more ability for more people to repair it for me.
Right,
and that's kind of a point. Vince,
I should-
final? Yeah, good.
Let's say maybe I should narrow it by saying something like VCR repair, and compared to what Louis Rossmann does, which is component level repairs, is a world of difference. And
not really, because those old
like
VCR repairs was pretty interesting,
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was a little kid, but I've seen it done. I don't know. I think that I think it's more challenging than what some are willing to admit. I mean, imagine if you mess up a component level repair on like an iPhone logic board, you might not be getting your data off of that iPhone ever again.
Sure, but you had a better chance than talking to Apple, who has an official policy that says you can try a third-party repair, but if you ask in the forums, they say it's completely impossible. So going from completely impossible to I now have the chance is better, but what's best is to say, I'm going to take this to a non-Apple professional who actually has the skill, the knowledge, and the ability, and the track record, and the ratings to prove it.
Right.
And that's really the difference.
I would push back against that, because you're using an anecdotal example where, as somebody who worked for the company, I could see where it's gone a dozen different ways, a dozen times. So,
For sure. Yeah. But again, those are only people working with your company. Were those independent third-party repair shops? Which, admittedly, there are bad independent third-party repair shops. Absolutely. Sure. There's going to be some Fruit Loops out there. And that's why, though, we need more options to be able to search and research who is doing it. So, I mean, I think that we're kind of agreeing, just saying different things, I think. But
yeah,
most things these days for getting repaired is usually done by word of mouth. When you choose to get something repaired and you're not in a pinch, you start asking people, who do you recommend to get this fixed? And most of the advertisement for that's done by word of mouth.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Vince, final thoughts? I'm sorry, we've been ping ponging
Oh,
around
yeah,
you,
that's
Vince. I think.
I think choice of repairer is a given. I think everybody would want a choice of repairer. I think
Mhm.
a right to repair is taking that a step further. When manufacturers start making things that are almost impossible to repair, that's where it becomes a massive, massive issue. And yeah, we really should be moving away from a throwaway society. We'll start with banning plastic straws, and we'll get to your iPhone sooner or later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still bummed that I went to Perkins yesterday. Was it no, Tuesday? It was part of my business meeting, and she threw a straw on the table, and I did not ask for it, and I did not want that straw.
I always, when they throw straws on the table, I'm always like, no straws. We don't want them. Put them back.
No. I keep on eyeing. I go to Dunkin' Donuts more than I should, and I keep on going out there, and like, man, they're now selling these little portable straws with a portable straw cleaner and a little carry case. I'm like, man, I might want to buy me those Dunkin' Donuts straws.
A lot of
Hang on,
places around where I live do actually have paper straws now.
Yeah.
When you say straw cleaner, do you mean like a tiny little brush? You
Yeah.
know what it is?
That's a little brush. I've seen
Yeah.
it before.
I
Well, you know,
actually,
Quint, back in the 60s and 70s, the straws were kind of paper with wax coating on them.
That my town has banned plastic straws and plastic lids, any single-use plastic. So that includes like forks and plastic bags, all of it. And we get these wax paper straws, and it is like, I feel like this is what the people in the 1930s had to go through. I'm like,
That's
man,
what
so
we
much
used to
better.
use when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So much better these days.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're lacking for fiber, you can eat the straw afterwards too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can save it for a while too. I'll be streaming again in 1 hour on my Christian channel, and today we are talking about denominationalism. All these crazy denominations floating around, and who's right, who's wrong, and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're doing that on the Christian channel. Link is now in the chat, so you guys can jump on over there. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 hour from now. So if you want to jump on and see what we got going on over there, we'll take off the hat, put on a nice shirt, and maybe comb my hair, and we'll see what we can do. But anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up here. So we'll hang out with these guys for a little bit. Joe, I did send you a link there on Discord because that was more convenient to send it to you on. So you can find that over there and hang out if you want to for a bit. And we will catch the rest of you guys later, and I'll make the decision. Are we marathoning it, or are we splitting it in a couple pieces? I don't know. We'll figure that out by tomorrow. Marathon? We're calling for a marathon. All right. We'll figure it out. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys, and we will catch you tomorrow with the news.
See ya.